Now, a question for you, a bone of contention here at Graduate Job Podcast headquarters. Do you recommend writing in the first person, such as I have experience in, or in the third person, so James has experience in?
Right, so the trend seems to be, and I agree, I've done both in my time, because I've been running a long time now, but for the past probably year or so, it's been the smart third person. So it's kind of not saying I am or James is, it's saying, I'm trying to think of how you might say it, but you might say a committed graduate who has recently finished a master's degree at the University of Cambridge, at Cambridge University, something like that.
No, I agree. I think the first person, people just tend to have I did this, I did
exactly.
that.
I mean, it's more dynamic. The language is more dynamic, and especially when you get down to your work experience, if you use power verbs, things like identified, realised, collaborated, delivered, generated, those kind of words, it just makes it seem more impactful. So your profile, I would definitely write in the smart third person, so taking off I am or James is, and just launching into it. And I'd use power verbs to start your bullets in your experience section.
Sticking with language then, are there any other, you talked about power verbs, is there any other language that you'd recommend people don't use at all?
I try and make sure it comes from the heart. So don't get bogged down in CV speak. When you're writing your CV and you've got a draft together, try reading it out, and then you'll see what seems natural to you. Don't use language that you wouldn't necessarily use when you're speaking, if you see what I mean. And also, reading it aloud is a really good way to identify anything that doesn't quite flow right, or word repetition, because sometimes your eyes just don't see it when you're reading on the screen or a printed version. And another tip, actually, relating to that, I now have a writing chair and an editing chair, so I will write at my desk, obviously, but then I'll print out a document and go and sit in another place and just mark it up with pencil. And I find that it works really well to spot any inconsistencies or small errors and so on.
No, definitely, and that's so important. We spoke in an early episode with Sarah Stimson, who was in charge of a PR internship scheme, the Taylor Bennett Foundation. It's an amazing scheme with not too many places to get, and they get hundreds and hundreds and thousands of applications. And she said one single mistake on the CV or application form, and it's straight in the bin.
Yeah, it just says attention to detail is not what it should be. So I really agree with that.
A top tip I found is actually to go through the CV backwards.
Oh, yeah.
If you're looking for sort of formatting, so full stops at the end of lines, etc., is to work at the bottom right, and then work up backwards. As you mentioned, your eye just catches on things that it doesn't pick up on when you're reading it.
That's right, and definitely print a copy as well as just viewing it on screen, because you can see how it looks on and off screen there, and it might seem a little different.